Okay everybody, welcome to another tutorial on Thunkable for AP Computer Science Principles. Okay, today we're going to create and play around a little bit with the layout options that we have on Thunkable. We're going to click on Create New App, and let's create layout version. Okay, we're going to create this model. Now in order to create a layout on the visual, we're going to use a little example that I have on this side. I have this image of a blueberry recipes, and this app, as you can see, it has different options. It has like some images, and it has a big image where the logo is, and basically I have a navigational tab or a top navigational tab that I can use later on. Okay, so let's try to see where to start. The first thing you've got to understand is try to divide your screen into different parts or sections. In this case, I have 1, 2, 3. I actually have 4 different rows, and on row 2, 3, and 4, I have 2 columns. Okay, so let's try to start with that. Okay. So first thing we got to do is on our home screen, or our first screen, which is the main screen, we are going to add some rows. Okay, in order to do this, let me go and drop down all the way where we have the layout, and we see some options for the layouts. Okay, one of them is a top navigator. I'm going to go all the way to row. Now I'm going to drag and I'm going to drop row on screen 1. Okay, make sure that the row is already indented so we know it's part of screen 1. That's why there's only 1 row on screen 1. I'm going to continue doing the same 2 times, 1 more time. As you can see, you got to play around so you see the different rows on the screen. If by mistake it's dropped in a different place, you have to just either delete it or just move it properly. And I'm going to do the last one so I simulate a little bit what I'm doing. So I have my 4 rows, row 1, 2, 3, and 4. These 4 rows are going to simulate what I need. Now, another thing that I can observe is that the first row, or in my case, row number 4, is a little bit bigger than the other rows. And this is something that we can easily manipulate. So I'm going to click on row 4, and on the right, I have the properties, okay? Now I have simple and advanced properties. Now I'm going to go down all the way where you can see the padding. Okay, now I have the padding here. It's kind of like the way that I want to distribute the things. Okay, so I have a padding on the bottom, then I will move this row, the height of this row, to the bottom, but the other ones will kind of like proportionally get smaller. Okay, so I can use pixels or percentages, and I can say that in percentages this is pretty much 40% of what my app looks like. So now this is 40% of the 100% of all the screen. So that's pretty easy to do, right? So you can either choose percentage or pixels. Okay, now that I have my top image or my top section or container, and I have the other rows, I'm going to start dividing each row with columns. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on row 3, and I need to create columns for each. So I'm going to just drag and go all the way to row 3. Now I have 1 column here on row 3, and you see it's indented, so it's part of row 3. I'm going to grab another one and put it also on row 3. So you can see now I have 2 columns, and I'm going to do exactly the same for the other. Okay, as you can see, now we have 2 columns in each of the rows that we are using. Okay, so it's starting to look similar to this app. And it's just to put different images and the logo at the top, and we will eventually have the first screen or the home screen of our app. Okay, now with each one of them you can play around with the logos. Okay, I'm sorry, with the layout. Okay guys, okay, now it's time to start putting some images here, even though they're not going to do anything yet because we haven't activated any buttons or any interaction. Okay, so these are not going to be inputs yet. We're just creating the layout for the image. So we're going to click on the background. We're going to click on row 4, and let's just look for the picture. You can design the picture on whatever software that you use, either Illustrator or online tools if you like. So I'm going to click on background picture, click on upload files, and I'm going to look for a picture that suits my goal. Okay, at this point I'm going to use a picture that I have over here, and it says, okay, this is the Hershey's pastries. Now if I want to see how it looks right now, right away, I would just click on the preview and see how this image is going to look on my app. Okay, I would want to change this, kind of like cut it, like fix it, or if I have my own design, just in case if you want it to cover the whole thing, then you have to go to here we go. Here, background picture resize model. So if it doesn't, like if it's too small, you want it to cover the whole container, just click on stretch, and you will get like the image as long as like it's stretched out. Okay, kind of like it reduces what you want it to be. Okay, so basically what we can do is that we can do the same with each of all the other pictures, and then have our app pretty similar to the one that I showed you. Okay guys, so when you're done, you can click on preview or live test if you want to see it, or you can just see it on your cell phone, and you can have a nice home screen to sell your cupcake. Okay, now I added an additional top drawer, like a navigational buttons, so I can have the home screen, and then I can have the buy screen, and then I have a QR code so people can buy some stuff, and we will see that how to change screens on the next tutorial. Goodbye.